How's it going, friends? Doug with D&E in the garage here, coming to you from inside my XJ on this, I don't know if you can tell, very frosty New Jersey afternoon. I think it's about 20 degrees. I don't feel like working today. It's too cold. I kind of feel like ranting. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add another installment to our podcast collection. And the topic today is going to be new cars versus used cars. All right, and as always, this is prompted by a conversation that I had with somebody. Before I dig into it, let me give a little disclaimer, a content warning, let's call it. This is going to be full of opinions, so if you're the kind of person who is offended by opinions, especially opinions that go against your own, you should probably find some other podcast to watch, or probably just stay away from media altogether. You wouldn't want to go and get yourself triggered. So when I bought this XJ, I bought it because I sold my WJ. I sold my WJ for, what was it, $2,000? And I was telling people I'm looking for a new car. I told them I either wanted to find a 90s Grand Cherokee or a early 2000s, late 90s XJ. And everybody's like, why? You have a good job. You have $2,000 cash in your pocket. Go put down a down payment on a whatever. I could have done that. I absolutely could have taken that money and gone to the dealership. And I don't know, honestly, if I was going to buy like a newer car, like say 5 years old, I would probably be looking for a small pickup truck. The point is, I could have done that, but I didn't because of some very pertinent advice that my father has given me. And I've heard other people say this, and it's honestly some of the best advice that you can give. I'm going to say a young person, but really any person. And the advice is quite simply, only buy what you can afford. All right? And that bit of advice permeates and is applicable in all aspects of your life. And it's such a big thing that's ignored in American culture right now. We don't buy what we can afford. We buy whatever the bank will help us buy. You know? All right? If you have $2,000 in your pocket, in my opinion, all you can afford is a $2,000 car. You cannot afford a $15,000 car that you're going to put $2,000 down on and have a $300 car payment for the next 3 years. That's not buying what you can afford. That's buying what the bank will help you buy. All right? In my opinion, there is nothing more rancid, vile, and unpleasant than a friggin' car payment every single month. You don't even own your own car then. You know what I mean? All right? You don't even own... I couldn't imagine not owning my own vehicle. It's mine. I want to own it. I don't want someone else to own it. I don't want there to be the threat that if I lose my job or miss a payment, somebody could come and flatbed it out of my driveway. Though if you've seen my driveway, you know that a flatbed's not making it in. That's not the point, though. There's this pervasive feeling in this country that you need to have the newest. I'm starting to get this opinion on cell phones, too. It really drives me nuts. How much cell phones cost and how people just accept, oh, well, if I want a cell phone, I need to have a $1,000 iPhone. And if they want me to be on a 2-year plan to pay that off at $50 a month or $60 or whatever the iPhone X is going for on a payment plan, we just pay it and we don't even question it, you know? We don't question that you need to have a new car. We don't question that you need to have the newest iPhone. And it's dangerous and it's ridiculous. And as soon as you are able to break yourself of that kind of thinking, you're actually freeing yourself up. All right, financially, you're freeing yourself up to really spread your wings. I would much rather drive a somewhat beat up 20-year-old car or 10-year-old car, but I own it. And then my money every month is free to do something else. Because you know what? Your new car is a scam. Your new car is a scam. All right? Not only are you paying too much for it, all right? New cars are ridiculously priced. A new Grand Cherokee is like 60 grand, all right? Even if you want to get a crappy Hyundai or something, you're still shelling out, I don't know, what's the cheapest new car today? I'll bet you it's right around 20. Maybe you can get a car for 18 grand, but it's going to be a piece of garbage. It's not going to be anything you want. It's not going to be anything you're proud of. On top of that, all right? Now, you got this new car that you paid too much for. You didn't even actually buy it. You put some money down. The bank paid the rest, and the bank owns it. Now, because the bank owns it, because you financed it, you can't just get cheap insurance. That's another thing, all right? I'm sure as heck not putting collision on my 2000 Jeep Cherokee with 150,000 miles. Insurance on this thing's like $80 a month, all right? Somebody who just bought a brand new car and financed it, because the bank pretty much owns that car, you have to get liability. So now your insurance is more expensive too, all right? On top of that, God forbid you do get into an accident, you're not even gonna wanna go through your insurance companies because insurance companies are crooked as all hell. What else on the planet do you pay to use, you pay to have, but then you get penalized and have to pay more when you actually have to use it? Right? That'd be like if I had a fire extinguisher for just in case there was a fire. I had to buy the fire extinguisher, but if I ever have to use it, I also have to pay a tax on using the fire extinguisher so that I can get another. It's ridiculous. Car insurance, that's a whole nother rant, all right? So now you've paid too much for your car. The bank owns it anyway. Now you have to get more expensive car insurance, all right? And on top of that, God forbid anything goes wrong, you don't even want to use your insurance. Try to get a bumper for a brand new whatever, all right? I can't even imagine how much, like, say I tap a deer. That happens all the time out here in somewhat rural New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, all right? People are hitting deers all the time. Deer all the time. Deers? Is it deers or deer? Oh dear. Doesn't matter. People hit deer all the time. And I'm telling you from experience, from seeing it, every time you hit a deer, it's gonna be at least one headlight, it's gonna be a bumper, it's probably gonna be a hood, and it's gonna be a fender, all right? Can you imagine how much those 4 things are on a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee WK? And you have to buy them and then get them painted? Gotta be $2,000, right? It's ridiculous. You know what happens if I hit a deer? I go to the friggin' junkyard for my 2000 Jeep Cherokee, and in an hour, in an hour's worth of time of wrenching, I'm able to pull all those things for like 120 bucks, all right? And I can probably even find them in my color, all right? It doesn't make sense to me to spend that much money on something that you're gonna drive and use every single day, all right? Not when you can get one that's just as good, but not as new. It's not the same as buying tools. I believe you should buy good tools. It's another thing my father taught me. Buy the best tools you can afford and you'll have them for the rest of your life. That's good advice. But it's not like you're gonna have a car for the rest of your life because they rack up miles and they wear out. Planned obsolescence, right? Your brand new car, give it a couple years and now you've put 100,000 miles on it, forget about it. You paid 24,000, you're lucky if you can get 10. Lucky if you can get 10 after what, 3 years, 4 years? It's ridiculous. I can't even imagine it. If it's like an investment, right? I know some people who have bought new cars and they're like, oh, it's an investment, whatever. Maybe it's a rare car, maybe it's a nice car. Certainly not anything I could afford to do, but maybe then, I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. We're not talking about investment cars here. We're talking about your daily. We're talking about you went out, bought a brand new Subaru Forester. What's a new Forester go for? Probably 22, 24. You drive it off the lot. If you were to bring it back the next day, you can already only get like 18 for it, all right? Now you drive it for 3 years, you put a couple miles on it, you got a couple dings from the shopping mall, somebody hits your cart, what are you getting, like 12 for it? That's ridiculous. And then because of this point of view that's injected into our minds, if you buy into that thing where you need a new car, in 3 years, you're gonna need another new car. So now you can sell your $24,000 car for 10 or 12,000 and then you start the whole friggin' show again. You know, another thing is in Jersey, this cracks me up. I used to work with a guy who had a big Dodge pickup, and the whole time I worked with him, he was complaining about paying it off, paying it off, paying off. And one day he was like, woohoo, I did it. I paid off the $2,500. And I'm looking out the window and the wheel wells are all rotted out. He was just telling me the day before that he needed all new front end stuff. I mean, by the time you finally pay off a vehicle, is there anything left of it? You know what I mean? Like, what have you invested in? Now, people might, to play devil's advocate, right? People might say something like, yeah, but if I buy a new car, it's gonna break less. So my maintenance charges are actually less. I don't know how true that is, all right? If you go through the time and take the time, and yeah, there's some people out there who don't know anything about cars and they don't have access to anybody who knows anything about cars. So you are at the whim of a salesman, and maybe it makes sense for you in that situation to just buy a new car, have a couple years warranty so you don't have to deal with it. Maybe, but I submit, in this age of the internet, if this age of information, let's say you're really into Nissan Altimas. You go on, you want to buy a Nissan Altima, but you don't know anything about cars. You don't have anybody around you who can go and look at cars for it with you to help you make a good decision. So you're thinking, I guess I need to buy a brand new Nissan Altima. That's not true. All right, go on the internet, go to Google, type in Nissan Altima forum. I guarantee Even a disgusting car like the Nissan Altima has about 10 forums dedicated just to idiots who love the friggin' Nissan Altima. And if you drive a Nissan Altima, I appreciate your viewership. I'm sorry. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Join that forum. All right? You love Nissan Altimas. Here's 10 forums worth of guys that also love Nissan Altimas and know everything there is to know about Nissan Altimas. Type in, hey, new to the forum, want to buy a Nissan Altima, don't know anything about them, I've got $5,000 to spend. Can anybody tell me what year I should be able to get for that? What a good mileage would be to get for that? What are some common things that go wrong in that year that I can afford, that I should be looking at? And they're going to type back and say, oh yeah, well for $5,000 you can probably get a 2008 Nissan Altima with 120,000 miles on it, but watch out because, you know, the back spring perches rot out, and sometimes they have O2 sensor problems. I don't know anything about Nissans. And now you have the knowledge. Now you can make an educated guess. You don't have to go and buy a new car, all right? I think that we allow ourselves to buy into the fact that buying a new car is better and it's more responsible. It's not. It's less responsible. You're buying a car you can't afford, all right? You are putting yourself in debt for no reason. All right, to get to the new car dealership, you probably had to pass 3 used car dealerships with perfectly good cars. Educate yourself, put a little bit more time in, and instead of taking that down payment and putting yourself in debt, buy a car that you own. You can get nice used cars. They exist all over the place. I know plenty of people who have the means to outright buy a new car every 5 years. All right, they are able to, because of their place in life and whatever, they are able to go and buy a new car every 5 years, and that's what they love doing. That's fine. You do you. You know what I mean? If you can afford that and that's what you want to do with your money, you do you. Now the benefit of that is this: every 5 years they're getting rid of a 5-year-old car. You know what I mean? That they were taking good care of. Go and buy that person's 5-year-old car. Go and buy that car. Go buy that Nissan Altima instead of a brand new Nissan Altima. It aggravates me how pervasive, and I see like to circle back to the idea when I was telling people like, oh yeah, I'm so excited, I got my new Jeep. And they're like, oh cool, what'd you get? And I was like, a 2000 Jeep Cherokee. And they didn't say it. You know, a couple people I work with and some other people I know and some friends, they didn't say it to my face, but I saw like a flicker behind their eyes like, what the frig is wrong with this dude? You know what I mean? They're like, they couldn't possibly understand. Now granted, I'm an extreme case. Y'all know I love working on cars. I love working on old Jeeps. Even if I didn't, I would still not be buying a brand new car. It doesn't make any sense because I can't afford it. I hope someday I can. You know what I mean? I hope that someday I can walk into the dealership and pull out my wallet and be like, alrighty, why don't you give me one of them brand spanking new Dodge Dakotas? I'm not there yet. I'm not even close. In fact, I think I got about $27 in my wallet. So for now, I'm gonna keep driving little Buck here. Hell yeah. Okay. Man, it is cold out here. All right, let's bring this thing around. Let's try to close in this rant and make it actually educational. All right. What I proposed to you in the beginning was I think it's ridiculous to buy a new car if you can't afford it. All right. So obviously, if you can afford the new car you want, go ahead. What I'm suggesting to you is buy the car you can afford. If you have $500, it's a bummer, but all you can afford is a $500 car. And I'm going to submit to you, if you only have $500, you probably can't afford a freaking car payment, all right? You're going to default on that loan, and somebody's going to come and take your car from you. You're just asking to have a crappy day. Buy yourself a $500 car, educate yourself. Listen, hey, there are good $500 cars out there. I bought a Subaru Forester for $800. That was one of the best vehicles I've ever had. Right? And you know what the best part about a cheap car is, about this car is? I love this car to death, but, this Jeep rather, not a car, it's a dang Jeep. I love this Jeep to death, but if I come out of work and a tree is falling on it, I'm just gonna look at it and go, huh, that stinks. I'm gonna go in there, pull my tools out of the back, pull my iPhone charger out and just walk away. Now, if a tree falls on your brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee WK2, it's gonna mess up your day, all right? Because you have full insurance on that you're gonna have to go through. The bank technically owns it. It's gonna be a whole process. Nope. I'm gonna get AAA to tow this bad boy to my house. I'm gonna part it out. I'm gonna take this money and whatever else money I have, I'm gonna go and buy another crappy used car. That's the way it works. Here's another interesting thought about buying an older car versus buying a new car that you can't afford anyway. All right. Now, And this actually happened to a friend of mine as well. Okay, this person bought a newer Jeep and they had to get the base model. Okay, it's a newer, I'm just gonna leave it at a newer Jeep, and they had to get the base model. And they were lamenting to me the other day that the car they had before that, which was a used car to them, had leather seats, had heated seats, had nicer wheels. I think it had a heated steering wheel, their other one, all right? But they wanted to get a brand new one, and so they couldn't afford to get the heated seats and the leather seats and the upgraded sound system, all right? And whatever else you wanted. When you buy an older car, you can get the absolute nicest model. Go get your leather seats, heated seats, mag wheels, I don't know, fog lights, whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, if you're buying a new car that you can't afford anyway, chances are you're getting the base model. If you're financing this new car, there's a very good chance you're getting the base model or you're getting whatever they have there on the lot. They're certainly not going to order a specially built car for you if you're walking in there with $2,000 to finance a $30,000 car. I'll tell you what I want more than anything is a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee WJ Limited, the Columbia Edition. You know how Ford did Eddie Bauer and I think Subaru did LL Bean? Well, in 2004, Jeep did the Columbia Edition, like Columbia jackets. The Columbia Edition WJ, that thing is nice, all right? Now, if I try to get a special edition Grand Cherokee today, it's $60,000+. I was pricing out one of those Columbia editions. I can get one with under 150,000 miles, which is still a lot of miles left if you know how to take care of it, for like $4,500. Someday, maybe soon. I want to drive that thing, man. It comes in this crisp blue. Oh man, it's beautiful. The point is, if I went out and got a brand new car, I'm getting the base model. I'm getting steel wheels. I'm getting cloth seats, and I'll be lucky if there's a radio in it at all. My last WJ had the Infinity sound system, leather, heated seats, fog lights, everything. It was nice. You can't do that if you're financing a car, if you're buying something you can't afford anyway. You know what I mean? What I'm saying here is, think about it. Just think about it. Just take a step back and think about what you're doing. Am I buying a new car because I can afford it? Am I buying a new car because I really want it? Or am I buying a new car because that's just what people do? You know what I mean? People just, they buy a new car. It's the responsible thing to do. I'm not 19 years old. I don't need to buy a used car. You know what I mean? I've got a good job. I care about the way people see me. You know what I mean? I'm saying take some time, maybe change your perspective. Buy what you can afford. All right, buy the car you can afford. I suspect that most people that are out there buying brand new cars, they don't want a brand new car. They just don't know what else to do. That's what you do. You go to the dealership and you say, Ted, hook me up. Whatever. Here's my social security number, my bank number. You just freaking go gangbusters. You let me know how much I owe and for how long. And he just smiles and says, sure, okay, let's do that, you know. I would love to get you in one of our brand new 2018 models, all right? They love that crap. Don't fall for that. Don't let society trick you into thinking that you need to have a brand new car. All right, I've screamed for long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you haven't figured out by now, obviously this is a channel where we are trying to fix stuff, and I'm trying to bring you how-to videos, but sometimes I just need to sit in a cold Jeep and I need to rant. And because I have a camera and access to a YouTube account, you guys get to listen to it. So the point of our podcast series, and it's going to be ongoing, and we're going to try to bring some more interesting topics. The point, obviously, you know, is to make them like real podcasts. Even though it is a video and I'm right here and you can see me, I want to make these so that if you were interested to, you could listen to them on a drive or something without actually looking at the video. So as always, thanks for watching. I'd love it if you guys would leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about it. If you did enjoy it, and I hope you did, I really, really hope you enjoy the videos that I'm putting out that you're watching. And if you did, give me that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We got all kinds of videos. I guarantee there's something for you out there, all right? Thanks for listening. See you next time.